Hello, hello. Hey, this is okay, and I'm coloring Wonky Wendy and the Crumbling Candy Factory's alternate cover, commissioned by a backer, and this is for the physical comic volume that's been fulfilled, and well, not fulfilled. Uh, it's it's going. It's live. It's the backing project is happening. I don't know what to say. It's been backed. I'm working on fulfilling it now. Um, I've got to get these the files finished. I've got to get the commissions finished and all the pages, all like 120 pages, uh, enhanced and digitally remastered and sent off to the printer. So that's what I'm doing over the next 2 weeks. I've taken a bunch of commissions, so I'm going to do commissions the last part of the month of December and work on those through January. January will be a big commission month, so if you want to subscribe and watch more live streams in the future, doing more commissions should be it's always a fun mixed bag of crazy stuff on commission months. Let's go ahead and get this what do you call it? This live stream, shared on all the platforms. In case you don't know, I'm on YouTube here at OkayOkayComics, and I'm also on X. I'm going to share that on X first, and also on Discord and DeviantArt. I'm on Blue Sky. I've been neglecting Blue Sky completely, so maybe I should post on there too. I think it's been like several months. But yeah, this is the cover we're working on, and I usually only do colorings on these live streams just because the inking part is just not as entertaining. It's a lot more fun to see the coloring process and see the inks come to life. Let me go ahead and share it on Discord. And where's my X community? There we go. Streaming the Wonka cover on YouTube. Okay. Also need to get the chat, right? Chat going up. Let's just click on this and get that pop out chat. There. Okay. Now we're kicking. Okay, we've got stream shared. Anything else? I think we're ready to go. Oh, one more little note. This morning I was working on the selfie store. So there was a few things that needed a little bit of tweaking. So now you've got all the things up here. Whoops. You can easily go through and find the comics. And I think I also, what did I do? I made sure all the comics were listed. I think there was a few that were not in the right categories or didn't show up in the subcategories. But they're all tweaked now and everything's ready to go. So I'll have to run a sale for Christmas because it'll give you some reason to pop over there and see what all is going on. I also need to get the physical comics restocked and available again. Always tons of stuff to do for the holidays. I don't know about you, but when it comes to the holidays, it's like I want to enjoy them, but there's so much to do. It makes it really difficult to have that work-life balance. Okay, so here we are. I went ahead and started this shading on a multiply layer. You can see if I turn it normal, this is what it looks like. And I did that multiply because I've got this W up here. And I'm going to want to shade over the whole thing. one continuous shade, and that'll do that. Multiply layer will do that well. So let's just go ahead and get our selection, and we can start. I think I had a problem. I didn't notice my flow was not 100%, so there's some weird inconsistencies with my magic wand. Here we go. We'll start with soft round, I guess. I don't normally like to use this brush because it starts looking so smooth. Whoops, wrong layer. I like using the like texture brushes a lot better. So let's just pull that out. Even if it's supposed to be a smooth surface, for some reason I like this brush better. Helps give it more of a shape. All right, and if you want to pick up this comic book, I have not sent the order off yet. Once I finish these commissions, then I'll take a break and I'll put the pre-order available on my Selfie store, and you'll be able to pre-order it through the Selfie store. It's going to probably be 4 or 5 weeks before the comics go out, so that's why I call it a pre-order. I've got to know how much to order if you want to guarantee that I have enough for you. You don't miss it. It's very hard to keep them in stock because, you know, it's a fairly expensive comic to order, and I don't want to spend thousands of dollars on comics and then just have a bunch of comics, you know, taking up space in my studio. All right, so we've got shading going on. Let's go ahead and I'm going to turn the flow down some. I've got copyright free music playing in the background. It's not the best. I had some playing last time where it was like the synth one, and I like the music, but it runs out pretty quick, and then it starts like auto playing copyright music, so that kind of defeats the purpose. All right, let's see what we got to do here. I kind of like having a little bit of a form kind of pop up over there, and we'll have it kind of shaded back to normal, all dark down here. And I kind of want to do like a reflective shadow, so we'll do the soft round, kind of erase this edge. Kind of want to erase. Let's just do a really tiny, like a 6 brush. Kind of give that some harsh definition back here. And all right, so we might leave a lot to the highlights over here, because I want it to feel like pretty much there's no crease, so it's going to be just like straight across with the highlight. But I think we can emphasize the depth down here a little more. Speaking of the holidays and how I want to enjoy the holidays, and it's hard to. I was following, I followed this guy, author Jason K. Progan, something like that. And I saw one of his recent one on like the Christmas Carol, like the meaning. I guess it's called the hidden meaning, because it's something that it's not as easy to pick up on as like greed is bad. Share the wealth. And it is a interesting part, like another layer to the story that is easy to miss, where the Scrooge character, he's not the boss that forces everyone to work while he is at home. He is at work on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. Yeah, it's Christmas Eve, sorry. But he's at work on Christmas Eve. He is in the building that's frigid and cold, and he doesn't want to add more coal to the fire. He's kind of forcing his moral and ethical code on everyone else in the world. And, I'm kind of repeating a lot of what the author's reel says. So if you want to get the original story, definitely go check it out because it's really interesting. Kind of feels like a church sermon or something, But whenever I got to the end of it, he's talking about this character who the other moral of the story is don't be so harsh on yourself. I think that that the world is a worse place because of how hard you are on yourself. How hard you are on yourself is how hard you are on others, and you don't have to be that hard on yourself. So I thought that's what I kind of I'm sort of injecting a little bit of my own personal opinion in there because it's not quite what he kind of came out with. It's touching on it. I think there's someone in my life who that reminded me of that, is kind of driving people away from them because they're not the easiest person to be around, but they're not good to themselves either. And you kind of hate that for them because, I need to get onto a highlight layer now. Let's go light pink. I'm kind of going to do like a teardrop shape. We'll kind of do the same shape but flipped over here. And it made me think of the, what was that recent Marvel movie where it was very preachy? I don't know if it was preaching. It was kind of preaching in a good way, where it was like a very relevant message for today's, today's youth. Maybe it's not just limited to youth, but there's, like the self-harm rate has really been rising lately. And that was kind of a message for self-harm where, who was that? That was like was it like Mr. Marvel? Is that what he was called? I forgot what that character is. But, he was his own worst enemy, that kind of thing. And I think that's the same sort of method, same sort of principle I'm trying to get at here with Scrooge. And, he's kind of a miserable person. And I liked how the original reel kind of talks about, like, it's easy to take away the meaning of the movie just to see, like, rich people, give me more of your money. And that's not really the full story or the full message of the movie. All right. I think let's go ahead and do the highlight down here as well. And I think I need to round this out a little bit more because it feels a little bit strange. I watched the movie Mordecai last night, and I'd never seen that, and I really liked it. It was a nice. It had it was very different. and it had personality, a lot of personality, and I was like very impressed that movies like that are still out. Well, I don't know. That's a pretty old movie, I guess. And I think it even happened before the whole Johnny Depp, Amber Heard thing happened. And I still think that's kind of a tragic that whole thing happened. I think Johnny Depp is a really amazing actor, and Amber Heard is not. And I think she manipulated that situation for her own benefit. And I feel maybe not everyone's innocent in that scenario, but I feel like it was what's the word? Like, it shouldn't have gone to that level. I'm smudging. Probably only went to that level because Johnny Depp was like, I'm not just gonna roll over and give up. Okay, yeah, let's kind of keep smudging because it looks a little bit like folky. Make these strokes kind of look more masterful. But I think Johnny Depp is a great actor. He has a huge, like, a very wide range. Like, he's like, I feel like he's the opposite of Jared Leto. And, yeah, I guess that's why I think it's kind of a shame that he's not really in Hollywood anymore. I remember watching one of his movies where I forget what it's called, but he was a teacher at a college. He was a professor, I guess you'd call it. A professor at a university, and he finds out he has cancer, and so he kind of lives like, as Robin Williams would have said, seize the day. In that Dead Poets Society thing, he kind of embraces the end of it, and it was an interesting movie, and a kind of emotional movie, but I enjoyed that movie, and it was different. I'm trying to remember what that was called. All right, let's see. So I'm kind of wondering if I should try like let's try a soft round brush. This DJ is a fan of the bird noises. Put a bird on it. Do you remember that Portland sketch? That was like, I remember very little from the show Portlandia. I remember the Pop-Tart sketch and the Put a Bird on It sketch. Those were funny. Remember, like, what is it? They're like going out. They're trying to find a restaurant to eat breakfast at. And there's like lines for every restaurant at breakfast time, which is partly why I remember it, because it was very true. Like, we lived in Asheville, North Carolina for a while, which has really good restaurants, really good, just non-corporate restaurants. very good places to eat in Asheville, North Carolina. And but if you try to go to breakfast at any of these restaurants, it's like good luck. Get ready to bring some Sudoku puzzles to do, or bring your phones, make sure they have a full battery, because you're gonna be waiting for a long time. But get back to Portlandia. They end up in some kind of junkyard where they are forced to eat Pop-Tarts for breakfast. Like, no, don't make me do it. And it's like torture to eat the Pop-Tart. I think they make some interesting faces when they have to eat the Pop-Tart too. But you know what? This probably should be a shadow back here too. Let's make this a soft shadow back here and a hard shadow where it starts. All right. Okay, let's turn. What happened to my? Oh, I turned that on multiply. Normal. I feel like I should do a slight bit of. There we go. All right, let's move on to the blueberry. The blue skin. Let's look at this roof. So I turned on a movie and I did every roof tile up here. I hand stamped. That took a while. Very mindless stuff. All right, so now we're doing the blue skin. Let's get kind of a little bit more purple, darker, and what kind of brush are we going to go with? Let's go with, we'll just start with this. I think I got it. Ah, yeah. See, this is what I was talking about. Like, I think my flow was messed up. There we go. I gotta look at that once the stream is over. That didn't look good. All right, so here we are. Gotta do a few more things, like her hair. I kind of tried to save some of the fun stuff, the fun bits for a live stream, but we're getting real close to being finished with this coloring. I should probably go with like purple on the inner ear. I'm gonna be a real stipply with the brush strokes to make it kind of look furry. Let's get rid of the edges. That's kind of annoying. I don't want to look at that. All right, we're gonna get some detail drawn in on the face here. I swear this DJ is like, give me all the bird noises you have. I need more bird noise. I want to get a bird feeder for our yard because we have a lot of squirrels and our dog loves to chase the squirrels. It's like the highlight of her day. And they don't like they've learned that she will chase them, so they they don't hang out too much in the yard, and so we need to give them a reason to come down and get chased. It's pretty funny because she goes into like a severe depression if she doesn't get to chase the squirrel in the morning. She just comes inside and plops down and like doesn't respond to anybody. Like, don't talk to me. I didn't get to chase the squirrel today. All right. I was trying to also, I forgot, I was talking about the Marvel movie. What was it? It was like the New Avengers. Was that what it's called? The New Avengers? But I was trying to remember in that movie if there's any kind of, if it was too preachy, and by that I mean, was there any kind of balance? Was there any kind of good writing that kind of shows, you know, like the more sides of the story? Like maybe some people need to be harder on themselves that have no, you know, like it becomes kind of like just propaganda, and it's not very artistic. It doesn't have a lot of it's not like artistic gold when you only present one side of the story, when there's no angles. I think Stanley Kubrick was a master of injecting layers and layers and layers, because he would take a subject and just zoom out, and kind of do the thing where you look at a subject and then you look at it from a different angle, and then from a different angle, and then from a different angle, a bigger angle, and that kind of thing. But I kind of felt like the movie ended up being a little heavy-handed with the message of, you know, don't cause yourself harm and don't hate yourself, especially for no good reason. But whenever there's not like that kind of counterbalance of, well, maybe there are times where you should be hard on yourself, and what are some good positive sides, you know, reasons to be hard on yourself? You know, what does it lead to when you're too easy on yourself? Or, you know, it's like when you only present one side of the story, it starts feeling like you shouldn't really trust whoever's writing the story. And I think the way stories have become even like more flat and more one-dimensional with Hollywood, I think we've seen a lot of that happening recently. All right, so I'm gonna keep her arms. I was kind of wondering if I should do like this all black, all dark, but I think we won't. I think I kind of like the shading how it is. Maybe the nose needs to be a little bit more emphasized. Speaking of nose, what was up with Susan Dell? Oh, my dog is barking at something. I might need to pause and see what's going on. She's like she's our security dog. We don't have a doorbell, so sometimes when I'm down in my studio, I cannot hear. I've got my earphones on. I can't hear the doorbell or somebody knocking on the door. All right, so I'm not going to do too heavy of a, let's do a little bit of a do a little bit back here. I don't want to make it too harsh down there. Okay, so let's go with now soft. Now I'm going to make it a little bit soft around this. It's kind of hard to notice unless you're looking. We're going to just darken up everything over here a little bit. Should probably just save this part for the multiply. This way we have some soft and some hard. All right, let's get highlights going on now. Which is our highlight layer? This one? I'm gonna name that highlights. I like to put highlights on their own layer sometimes, and it allows you to do the smudging and the easy modifications if you need to. Am I still selected? I forgot. Yeah, I'm still selected. Okay. Now we got to figure out the shapes that we're going to try to create here. We'll do like a teardrop there. I don't think the teardrop works there. What are we going to do here? Let's do... Let's do like a triangle mixed with a circle. Do an oval here. Let's push down and get the absolute brightest parts of the highlights, and then we can work down from that. Okay, so I'm gonna, because I have it on its own layer, which I think is a good thing in this case because I'm not too happy with how it's looking. Let's get our oh, this airbrush with texture, huh? I'm kind of thinking this is a little, we need to narrow it a little bit. There we go. Let's kind of soften this curve over here too. All right, now we can add in the super highlight with the white. Well, I guess we should completely finish all these highlights first. Let's go small. Whoops. All right, let's make that smaller up here. Whoops. It did not register my register. Okay, I changed it to eraser. There we go. It's a little bit too strong over here. That's why it's nice to have it on its own layer. All right, let's get the smudge. Now it's looking too highlighty right here. Okay, so let's come in now. We can go ahead and work on the multiply layer now. Then we'll do the brightest highlight, like the pure white highlights. So we're on our multiply layer. Let's try a little bit of texture. Feels like nothing is happening. Okay, I'm choosing the eraser. Okay, there we go. This is going to increase the contrast. Add a little bit of violet. And you know what? I think like it's a little too. Let's play around to make it a little more violet-y. Because it's looking very blue. Now let's get the eraser, kind of merge that a little bit better. Alright, so now we can go in and do the pure white highlights. And then I'm going to probably take a break and investigate what is going on. Got alerted that there's been fraudulent activity on my Stripe account, so I need to look into that. That mixed with my dog barking at the front door makes me kind of uneasy. Getting a little, my nerves are a little shot. What's going on? I've had some strange like animal attacks happening around the house the past couple of nights. It's part of why I'm tired this morning. We're having strange noises. It sounded like a raccoon being attacked by an alien frog last night, where I have no idea. It was so strange. It woke me up, and I was like, it went on for about 5 minutes. It went on long enough where I was like, okay, I'm gonna go investigate what is going on. It sounded like something in fast forward, like a high pitched, like it wasn't a cat, but like some kind of raccoon or possum being attacked. And then it was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like some strange, like, sounds like an alien frog. Maybe it was an owl I've never heard before. We have owls, and I would definitely recognize their call. But let's work on the hair of Wonka. But yeah, been some strange occurrences occurring around me lately. It's kind of got me feeling uneasy. Okay, so let's figure out what the right value is first. I think we're gonna go pretty dark over here. Kind of just go completely dark over here. And I think we'll start dark. There we go. Let's get some like solid shapes formed here. There we go. And I tried to do kind of like a blending of chapter 1 Wonka and chapter 2 Wonka. I don't know if you can tell, it's not quite chapter 1 and it's not quite chapter 2. I find it kind of hard to do my style from chapter 1 because it was kind of like realistic, an attempt at realism, and yet it was always a little bit off, not quite realistic, and always a little bit off on the likeness. And then you get to chapter 2, and it's a lot more stylized, harder to kind of identify who it looks like. But I sort of got into the place where I appreciate stylized characters more, feeling like it's easier to identify with characters that are stylized. And the realism kind of feels more like you're watching someone else or you're watching a movie. And so, I don't know, I kind of liked having both. I'm always someone who's like, oh, why not try both? Maybe I'm undecisive, struggle to make decisions, commitments. Okay, so let's go with a little bit more shading on the back side of this. Alright, so we'll get a light. And we'll go ahead and do the whites on the highlight layer on the blueberry. We need a small brush for this. I'm talking about like 9 might even be too big. I make sure to uncheck. Do I like that? Yeah. I was trying to think if I liked the crease or if I like to bridge the gap. Kind of giving it some very precise definition, which I think is necessary because this is really the focal point of the cover. I think we're going to be looking at that blueberry belly popping out. Let's give it a little more gradation. You know what? I'm going to go back, undo that. And I'm still thinking this is pretty... Should I try the smoke detail eraser? Let's try that. Because I'm thinking it's just a little too strong. It's a little too all over. Let's do a soft round now. I've done one page of page correction so far, so I'm not making very good progress on that yet. But I felt like the commissions were the first priority. My plan is to finish the commissions and then commit fully to every single page. Let's do the process of updating pages and that stuff. All right, let's do fixes here. Fixes. Because there's some bad edge lines right here. We need to fix those. Anytime you start working with separate layers, you start getting like pixelated edges that require some tune-ups. I guess that's the downside with working in layers. almost done here. And then I'll zoom out and see where we stand. I think that's all the corrections. Been watching the Hannibal series. I think I watched all 3 movies. There's Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, and then Hannibal Rising. I think those are the 3 that exist. Oh, there's also the Red Dragon. I didn't watch that one. But recently I had this like really graphic nightmare, and it involved someone that's very close to me, who I really care about, and it's been hard to watch any kind of graphic movie ever since I had that nightmare. It's like that visual is not leaving my mind. And I wish it would. Alright, so I guess we got to do some lips. Let's do lipstick and then we'll be done. Nice, like, light purple lips. There we go. And I guess we need to shade her eyes because her eyes are kind of looking a little too white. I'm on the fixed layer. It's probably not the right layer to be on. With the eyes, I feel like you want it to barely be noticeable when you're drawing shading for the eyes. Alright, let's zoom out, see how that's looking. Good. Okay. And we got to do it for the teeth now, too. Let's come in with like some gums. There we go. All right. I'm kind of thinking there's a little too much white in this pupil, so we need to put a little bit of color in it. That makes it look more realistic. I like that. All right, so we're going to take a break now. This has been a nice shading of a blueberry on the wonky Wendy cover, and drawing Wendy's hair as well. Thanks for stopping by, and hope you enjoyed some parts of this. And if you did, hit like and subscribe for more. We'll be doing more live streams throughout the month. And if you haven't gotten into the physical volume, there will be a physical comic volume of Wendy Wonka issues 1 through 6, and if you want to get in on that, make sure you check out the Selfie Store, or you can head over to Kickstarter, also on there. But I will be seeing you next time. Thanks for watching, and have a great holiday.